Good evening. Good evening. My name is Erica Childs, and I am with Hamilton and Childs. I'm here today because I just wanted to hop on live and to chat with you, my friends and my family, about some of the things that we're doing here. As you all are aware, I practice estate planning, real estate, and family law. We've been communicating with family members and churches throughout the Houston area, really trying to connect with the people that we know and to share with everybody some of the ins and outs of probate law and, of course, estate planning. A lot of times people are a little bit weary of talking about these things, but what I found is that people are calling me kind of at the last minute when there's something that is an emergency. But I wanted everyone to know that you don't have to wait until it's an emergency, right? You can kind of pre-plan. There are a few things that I want everybody to be aware of. One is that if you don't do this planning, trust me, the state already has a plan for you. So if you're kind of like me and you like to have a little bit of sense of what's going to go on with your life, then you definitely want to reach out and talk to either me or another attorney, but definitely reach out so you can make some of those plans. I was on TikTok a little bit earlier this week, and I wish I would have saved this video, but a lady was in her car and she just said, hey, I'm going to talk to you and tell y'all a little bit of something that I know people don't want to say it out loud. You know how when you're busy taking care of a loved one and you're doing everything for that loved one, you drive them to the doctor's appointments, you help them take care of their children or their grandchildren, or you bring them food, and you're doing everything, clean up after them in the house, take care of them, clean them up. You're just there thick of them, prayer partner, all of that, right? And then there's always another relative or a friend of the family who they're way too busy to come to doctor's appointments. They're way too busy to come and pick them up. Oh, they just can't stand getting them dressed or washing them off or cleaning them off, cleaning up after them. But let something happen and that person pass away, then, they'll make the time to be there, right? They'll want to go over the program, make sure that everybody's name spelled right, and they want to make sure exactly where their name and their husband or their children are placed in the order of the family members. They all of a sudden have all this time, right? To pick out the casket, to make sure Big Daddy's shoes, right? Make sure Big Mama got, Annie Esther pearls on. They have all the time in the world, whereas you've spent the last 2, 3, 4, 10 years sometimes of your life sitting there taking care of the loved one. And then at the end, you find out your loved one didn't even write down wishes, right? They may have communicated with you what they wanted. There might have been a godchild in Louisiana or in Missouri somewhere that's been living on family property. And that loved one communicated with you that, Tina's been living with her family and her grandkids on that land for 40 years. And I really want my share to go to Tina. But your loved one did not stop and put that in writing. You know where that leaves you? It leaves you pretty much in the same spot you've been in for the last 2, 3, 4, 10 years. It leaves you trying to pick things up. And you know what? In a lot of states, including Texas, certain issues such as real property, if you don't have things in writing, sweetheart, don't take this as legal advice. We're on Facebook, but go and talk to your lawyer. You can call me and get a consultation. I'll sit down and talk to you. But if you have some real estate issues and you don't have certain things in writing, there's some judges that I know, and probably some judges that might be watching this. Your hands are tied, right? Their hands will be tied. You can go and take it to court and you can fuss and fight about a lot of things. But ultimately, if there's some real property involved, I highly suggest that you communicate with an attorney and make sure that you have things in writing. You might say, well, Erica, that's selfish, or they may be offended, or you know what? You've been offended before and you're surviving. You didn't die. You watching this. They've been offended before. They didn't die, not from being offended. They're going to die, but they're not going to be dying from being offended. So do yourself a favor. Get yourself all of your matters together before there's an emergency for you. Talk to your loved ones. Encourage everyone to get their affairs in order in writing. Not tell me, I want no grapevine. I heard it through the grapevine about, what was going to be mine. No, I need it on paper. I need it on paper. Okay. So I thought that video was so great. If I find it on TikTok, I'm going to share it with y'all. Y'all know I like to share all my little all my little things I find. But if I find that video, I'm gonna share that with you all, which might mean I'll be on TikTok a little bit more than what I already am, but I will share it with you all. Okay. Someone had asked me to communicate the difference between wills and trust, and they're both kind of complicated issues. Wills, everybody has heard about those. Last will and testament, right? You have to be of your sound mind. It's in writing. It's a written document that's going to explain to the court a few things. One, who you nominate to be the executor, meaning who you nominate. And mind you, it's a nomination. It hadn't been approved by the judge yet. It's a nomination of who you would like to be responsible for gathering assets, taking inventory of assets, paying off debts, etc. You can nominate that person. You can nominate another person who can serve, who you nominate to serve in case that first choice isn't available. Maybe they died before you, died with you. Maybe they're busy, they just can't assume the responsibilities. You can nominate that person. Your will is also going to state, what assets are going to be going to which person. You can include a trust in the will, mention a trust that you're creating through that. We call those testamentary trusts. You can do that. But one thing you must know about a will, in order for it to be effective, it has to be probated. It's going to go through the probate courts, okay? You can't just die and then somebody say, oh, now I'm the executor. See this on paper? And they just start dividing up properties. It's, here, you take this, you got this. You can have a car, you can have his, his suit, you can have Granny Cadillac, you're gonna take that because you can afford the no. You can't do that. Okay. If somebody passes away without a will, you need to probate the will. All right. It has to go through and get some court approval on its validity, and the court's going to decide if the person who you nominate as executor can serve as executor in accordance with, for us, the estates code. I only know Texas. So if you have a will, it's going to be public. Okay. You may not want all your business in public. We live in an age of social media, so a lot of our lives are already in public, but there may be some things that you don't want people to know about. You might have some assets, or you might be trying to distribute something to someone that you don't want them to know about. Talking about wills, I also want to express to you, many families have blended, we call them blended, meaning you've had children outside of the relationship with your spouse, right? So in those situations, I highly recommend that you have those conversations. Some of my friends, y'all already in these blended relationships. Okay. Some of you are in blended relationships, but not necessarily marriages. Okay. And some of you, oh, bless your heart. Some of you just have kind of a couple of families and you're not with a spouse right now, but you've been married a few times, or you've had some other situations. Either way, I highly suggest that you have those conversations about money and about your body. Okay, number one, if you get sick, who's going to make those decisions? Who is that going to be? I'm a little bit older, but some of my friends, some of you are 40, 30, a few of y'all may be in your 20s, late 20s, but 40s, 50s, 60s, and even for you all in the 30s. If you're in relationships, you really need to have those conversations, put those in writing. I wish that there was a law. Maybe I should. No, they're not going to do that. Anyway, my friends that are state legislators, I'm thinking, goodness, wouldn't that be nice to have a law that if you got a marriage license, you also need to go and figure out what you're going to do regarding a will and your other estate planning needs. Because let's say something happens to you, you and your husband or you and your wife, y'all are going to a concert, or y'all going to Aspen, y'all going to Martha's Vineyard, y'all going to East Beach, whatever, and there's an accident. Well, most married people, well, I don't know about most, but some married people assume that if they become ill, that their spouse would be able to step in and make those decisions for their medical care responsibly. Well, what if you both are in an accident at the same time? What if that? One of my father's very best friends got in a terrible accident and he ended up dying. And his wife was rushed to emergency room, and his daughter was sitting behind him, and her jaws had to be wired shut. What do you do if you're in a situation and your spouse is dead? you are rushed off and you have your child in the back seat, injured, who's going to be the person making decisions? Hmm? Things that people don't talk about. A lot of people are concerned about their parents, their great grandparents. Well, my friends, I'm telling you, for once in your life, I need you to be worried about yourself. The last 6 months, I've had clients come. Let me tell you, they're not always the children of the decedents. I'm having to have people in my office, you all's parents, coming to me. I'm consoling them. Your aunties or uncles are having to come to my office with your parents. And in my kind of friends, let me tell you, people I grew up with are great kids. I grew up in a neighborhood. We had my friends and we take care of our parents. We're very close to our parents. I have very few friends that have some traumatic experiences with their parents. But I can honestly say that the way we've treated our parents, the way our parents have treated us, we've taken it for granted that we're going to be the ones taking care of them. And let me tell you, I can testify that that's not always the case. I've taken care of my mother when she's been sick, but let me tell you, I've been sick and she's brought me back almost from near death. So friends and family, I want you to take on personal responsibility to make sure that your parents aren't in the position of wondering where your paperwork is. I want you to take that position that you're going to have that conversation with your mother and with your father, or with both of them, not just with your siblings or your best friends, not your sorors, not your frats. Have that conversation with your parents about where your documents are, what your wishes are, and where everything that they would ever need to know to keep your situation, your household running, where all of that is. Because let me tell you, if something were to happen to you, your parents will be the ones really trying to hold everything together. Okay, so I just wanted to hop on, talk about blended families, wills, the necessity of us thinking about all these things in our community, making sure that we're all together, because there's some other great things about estate planning, such as protecting your assets, such as how you can use trust to protect your businesses, protect your real estate. There are many fascinating things that we just have not been communicating to one another. And I really want to help you all make sure that you protect your households, protect your family. You pray about the safety of your children and your parents, your brothers, sisters, cousins, your church members. You pray about that. I want you to pray about the decisions that you must make regarding your estate and how you can use your estate, how you can use everything that God has given to you and blessed you with, how you can multiply it to assist the other philanthropic interests that you have, including your church, including your colleges, including your sororities, your fraternities. I want you to take all of that into account. If there are any other organizations that mean a lot to you, there are a lot of things that you can do to be a blessing to them. God has blessed all of us, so let's continue to be a blessing to him for the glorification of his name. I'm Eraka Childs. I'm with Hamilton and Childs. We care about you and what happens to you and your family. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. If you have a family lawyer, estate planning lawyer, any questions that you have, please go on, reach out to them. It's okay. I just want you all to be taken care of. God bless you all. And we'll talk about something fun, such as protecting your wealth next week. See you later. Bye.